Welcome everyone. So basically in this lecture we are going to see the second part of application of derivative, which will be the increasing and decreasing function and the concept of tangent and normal. So first we will see the concept of increasing and decreasing function. So the increasing and decreasing function is a very important concept. So let's suppose this is an Cartesian xy plane, and let's suppose I have any arbitrary curve which I will denote as y of fx. So the increasing and decreasing function, the word that is the increasing and decreasing means this is the increase of slope and decrease of slope. So increasing and decreasing function with respect to the slope of this curve. So when we move, let's suppose here I have x equal to a, and here let's suppose I have x equal to b. When I move from a to b, I will have the value, the functional values. If you see like this, I am moving from x equal to a to x equal to b. When I am moving from x equal to a to x equal to b, you can see that this line will always cut the curve at some point. This is this point, this point. If you see these red circles, these points are always denoting functional increase of functional value. So it means that when I have x equal to a, I have a certain y value, then I have increased the value of x equal to a to a different value. Then I have another value which is greater than the previous value. And when I am moving from left to right, these values are also moving from bottom to top. So these kind of functions where I increase another I increase x, then y is also increased. So this kind of functions are called increasing function. And how to determine this kind of function? Because you cannot plot every function this way, and all functions are not easy to be determined by looking at this kind of way. You cannot determine whether it is a increasing or a decreasing function. Similarly, if you want to see a decreasing function, let's suppose this is a decreasing function. Why? Because when we move from left to right, you can clearly see that the values are decreasing. When I say the values are decreasing, that is the y value. Y values are decreasing. So this is an example of decreasing function where x decreases, here x increases from left to right. I am moving from left to right here, but the values are moving downward. So this is an example of decreasing function. So the concept behind increasing and decreasing function is that this. And now how to determine the increasing and decreasing nature of a function. So to determine this functional relationship, that is it is decreasing or increasing, we will need to have the understanding of slope. So slope is a very basic concept. Many of us have already learned it in class 9 or 12, but I will again recapitulate this concept. That is, slope is nothing but a stiffness of a profile. Let's suppose this is I am going to give you a practical example. Let's suppose this is ground. This is called a waste. So it has some component into the board. That is, it is a 3D diagram. So this line which I am representing is the slope of this waste. This means that if a person is here, he can easily slide here. But let's suppose this shape has some slope. But what we mean by a function which doesn't have a slope? Let's suppose this is a block. If you put a ball here, this ball will not go anywhere. It will neither go towards the right or towards the left. This means that this surface has a slope of 0. But if I put a ball here, it is our general tendency to think that this ball will always move towards down. So this surface, which the waste surface, have a non-zero slope. So the basic physical nature of slope is this, that if I put a ball in the surface, the ball will roll down the surface. Here ball will not roll, or it will remain stationary at whatever position we kept it. So this is a physical nature, but mathematically we can determine slope by using derivative. So long before, when I taught you the concept of derivative, I have discussed this formula, the basic formula of derivative. Here, when I derive this formula for you, you can remember that I have taught you that derivative is nothing but slope. So you can rewatch the derivation part of this formula to know what slope is and how we relate slope to derivative. So now with the help of slope, we can see whether a function is increasing or decreasing. So to get the hang of this increasing and decreasing nature, suppose I have a function here. Let's suppose I take an example. This is a curve of y equal to x square. So from this graph you can easily see that this is an example of increasing function. But every graph we cannot plot in the board easily. So let's suppose we don't know the nature of this curve. As such, we first need to derive this function, which is dy d of x square. So it will have the value of twice x. So I can write derivative as f dash x, which will have the value twice x. Now the method is that when you are going to find out whether a function is decreasing or increasing, all you need to do is you will be always given a function. This is a simple function, but you can be given a very complex function also, but the steps remain same. What you have to do is, first you have to get the function which is given in the question. Then you have to derive this function. Here I have derived y equal to x square, which will be after which I will get twice x. Now I can put any random value to check whether it is increasing or decreasing. Here this curve is only valid in xy coordinate plane, where x equal to 0 and y equal to 0, that is, it is valid in positive quadrant. So now let's suppose I take any value. Let's suppose I take x equal to 1. At x equal to 1, I will find out the value of f dash of x, not fx. So f dash of x will be equal to twice x, that is 2 into 1, that is 2. Again I can take any value. Let's suppose, for the sake of simplicity, let's take x equal to 3. Now when I take the value of f dash of 3, I will have 6. So you can see that when I move from x equal to 1 to x equal to 3, my f dash of x, that is f dash 1 and f dash 3 value will be also increasing. Let's suppose I take again another value. Let's suppose x equal to 100. So f dash of 100 equal to twice into 100. So you can see that as I am increasing the value of x, f dash of x is also increasing. So to conclude here, the conclusion is that whenever you are going to find out the increasing and decreasing nature, first the method is to, I will write the steps in short. The step 1 is to find out f dash of x. After finding out f dash of x, you can check whether it is increasing and decreasing by putting two sets of values. After that, you can make a table also to simplify your calculations. Here x equal to 1, 3 and 100. At x equal to 1, f dash of x equal to 2, then 6, then 200. Now we see that as I am increasing the value of x, f dash x also increasing. So I can check, what you need to check is that if x2 greater than x1, so now what you need to check here is that here x2 greater than x1. So you need to find out if this relation holds. That means that if I am getting the f dash of x at x equal to greater than f dash of x at x equal to 1, then I can say that this function is increasing. But if the reverse happens, that x2 greater than x1, but I am getting then this function will be called decreasing function. So from this formula we can always get whether a function is increasing or decreasing. So now let's solve some problems to get clear our concept regarding how to use these formulas. So this is the first problem. We are given a function f of x equal to cos x. So we need to prove, actually this is a proof kind of a problem where we are given that we need to check whether it is decreasing in the interval 0 to pi. The second part is increasing in the interval pi to twice pi. So this is these two are the part of this problem. So now according to our steps, the first step will be to find out the derivative of cos x. So f of x equal to cos x. So f dash of x equal to minus of sin x. So now putting two sets of values is the second step. So now we are given two intervals. That is, if I put in the number line, this is 0, this is pi, this is 2 pi. We are given two intervals. First is the this interval and second is the this interval. So we need to find the increase. We have to prove that it is decreasing in 0 to pi. So in this interval, let's take two sets of values and prove how whether it is increasing or decreasing. So between this, we can take pi by 4, x equal to pi by 4, and then we can take x equal to pi by 2. You can take any sets of values according to your wish. It is nothing as such that we need to take only pi by 4 and pi by 2. You can take any infinite number of points here. So now f dash of x at pi by 4, which will be minus of pi by 4, which will be 1 by root 2. Again I need to find f dash of pi by 2, which will be sin pi by 2, which will be 1. Now when you get the value of 1 by root over pi by 2, let me get the value of this expression. This will be coming roughly as 0.707 and this is minus 1. So basically you can see that I am increasing the value of pi by 4 to pi by 2, while these values are decreasing. So I can depict this nature of this curve from the diagram also. So this is the curve plot of fx equal to cos x. So now here you can see that from this interval 0 to pi, we in this interval 0 to pi, we can see that this curve is decreasing continuously. In this values also you can see that at pi by 2 I have a positive. This is this is pi by 4 and this is pi by 2. So in this diagram from this f dash of pi by 4 and also f dash of pi by 2, we can see that this slope are decreasing. So when this slope are decreasing, we can see that this curve is also decreasing nature. The decreasing slope can be like this. If I am having a curve like that, when I move from this point to this point, if you try to draw a slope at this point and at this point also, we can always get the decreasing nature of this curve. So similarly, we can check whether it is increasing in pi to twice pi. From this diagram also you can see that from pi to twice pi, this function is increasing. So the basic thing is that when you are given some basic functions like f of cos x, sin x, tan x or something of that sort, then you can always find out the increasing and decreasing nature with the help of the graph also. But in maximum cases you can't plot any curve. Let's suppose I am given a curve sin x plus cos x. You cannot plot this curve easily in the graph. So to determine the increasing and decreasing nature of this kind of curves, you have to have the concept clear of these increasing and decreasing functions. But for basic functions like cos x, sin x, fundamental, suppose you are given ex, then you can be given log x or any kind of things. Then you can get the sense of this nature of this curve from the diagram also. It is an easy way to solve, and also you can cross check your answer from the graph also. So this is the basic concept of increasing and decreasing functions. So the basic step of increasing or decreasing function is these two only. And let's try out one problem again. We are given this function f of x equal to sin x plus cos x, where the interval is 0 to twice pi and it is a closed bracket. That is 0 and twice pi, both points are into that interval. So the basic step is how to move forward is to find out the derivative. It is f of x. Differentiation of sin x will be cos x and differentiation of cos x will be minus of sin x. Now here you are given to determine at what interval between 0 to pi this function sin x plus cos x is increasing and at which interval this function is decreasing. So the thing is that in any kind of interval the function can show both nature. It is not mandatory that in an interval it will only have a increasing or decreasing nature. It can it can show both nature also. So in this example, you need to find how to at which intervals this function is increasing and at which interval this function is decreasing. So to find out the increasing and decreasing nature of this function, first of all what you need to do is equal this f dash of x equal to 0. When you this operation, then you can simplify it as cos of x equal to sin x. So you can write it as tan of x equal to 1. Now from this you can write x equal to pi by 4. Now here again I will tell you one concept that tan x is positive in this quadrant and in this quadrant. So when tan x is a positive value, there is a possibility that the angle that is where which is x here can lie in this quadrant or in this quadrant also. So where you are given a range which is from 0 to twice pi. So you are given from the entire quadrant. So you need to write these two positive values. So the principal value will be pi by 4, but another positive value will be pi plus pi by 4. So this is pi by 4 and this is 3 pi by 4. So now these are the values, and sorry, I made a mistake here. This is not 3 pi by 4. This is 5 pi by 4. Pi plus pi by 4. So these two are the points. Now you need to check the number line and see where are these points are. So basically this is our real number line where this is 0, and let's suppose this is twice pi. So we get this point pi by 4, and again we get the point 5 pi by 4. So now whether this function is increasing is in which region, if you want to check, then you need to check two sets of values. You can take any value. Again there is a simple funda here that when we are given some basic functions, we can always put some values and check whether this function is increasing or decreasing. But if we encounter such little bit of complex functions, you can always check whether this value of derivative is positive or negative in this region. So let's suppose I take some value, let's suppose pi by 8. So pi by 8 is basically 22.5 degree. So if you check, then f of pi by 8, which is cos of pi by 8, and then this is sine of pi by 8. So when you calculate this value, that is cos of pi by 8 minus sine of pi by 8, you can have a value which is positive, so this value is 0. Again, you can also check between a point here also and here also. By putting some points here, you can always check, see that f dash of x is greater than equal to 0 for increasing function, and for decreasing f dash of x less than 0. So f dash of x greater than 0 will be found in 0 to pi by 4, where 0 will be included and pi by 4 will be excluded. Why we are excluding pi by 4 is that at pi by 4 we find that at pi by 4, if you find f dash of pi by 4, then you can find that this is cos of pi by 4 and this is sine of pi by 4, which is this is root 2, 1 by root 2, and this is also 1 by root 2. So basically this is 0. So when a derivative comes out to be 0, we cannot say that this is an increasing or decreasing function. We say that this point, that is a point at which the derivative of any function comes out to be 0, we can point out that this point is called a point of inflection. That is at this point, that is x equal to 0, the curve is changing its nature. So this is a point of inflection. Then again you can have pi by 4, 5 pi by 4. Sorry. So f dash is positive here, and you can see that this is also a point of inflection, that is pi by 4, and twice pi we will include here, and f dash of x will be negative in this region, is pi by 4 and pi by 4. So basically you can always check for basic functions and also complex functions also for like this only, or you can say that I can find out like f dash of x 0 greater than 0 or f dash of x less than 0. When this is greater than 0, we can say this is a increasing function, and when f dash of x is less than 0, we can say that this is a decreasing function. So this is the basic concepts in increasing and decreasing function. This is a very short topic and there's nothing much of complicated nature here, but just you need to remember the steps of how to solve this kind of problems, and you can easily solve this. So now we are moving towards the next part of this application of derivative, that is tangent and normal. So this is another application of derivative. For this you need to have some idea of coordinate geometry, some basic fundas like how to write a equation of a line and what are the forms of equations of line. So now up to this discussion you have already know that a slope is determined by the derivative of a function at any point, and at that point we can find out the derivative of that function and also the slope of this function. So now to find out the tangent and normal at any curve, we need to first know some basic concepts of coordinate geometry, that is equation of straight line. So to determine the equation of a straight line, the basic funda is that you need to have two basic thing given in your question. That is, suppose you are given 2 points, or you can have 1 point and slope, or you can be given 2 intercepts. So basically you need 2 informations always. Sometimes it will be given as 2 points on that Cartesian coordinate. Sometimes it will be 1 point and 1 slope, that is the slope of the line which you are finding out the equation, and sometimes it will be x, the 2 intercepts, that is the point, the line which is cutting x-axis and y-axis at which point. So basically the equation we are interested here is the type of information we are given will be given in this problem or in this chapter will be 1 point and the slope of that line. So basically this is the form of this second type, where we can write the equation of the straight line as y equal to mx plus c, where c is the intercept on y-axis and m is the slope. What is intercept? So intercept is nothing but this dimension, that is, this is a line, this is y-axis and this is x-axis. So this line is cutting y-axis at this point. So the distance of this point from the origin gives us the dimension of the intercept on y-axis. So similarly we can have the x-intercept also. So to determine the equation of a straight line, the 2 information we will need is the slope of that line and intercept, or we can be given as the 2 points also. So now the 2 points will be given in the question. So the basic information we will need is the slope, information of slope. But in this chapter we will not be given the slope as directly in the question. So as this is a application of derivative chapter, you need to find out the slope and then the point will be given. Then you can find out the value of c, and after that you can find out the equation of tangent and normal. So now to determine the slope, what we will do is, let's take an example. Let's suppose this is an equation which is y equal to x square plus x. Now first of all I will take the derivative of this function, and I will get twice x plus 1. So now this is the slope. So let's suppose I am given at any point, let's suppose say 0 to 1, I am given this curve, and they are asking us what is the slope of fx at 0 and 1. So they are asking me to determine the slope of fx at 0 to 1. So now to determine the slope, let's suppose I take the slope as m, and at 0 to 1 I have x coordinate 0, so my slope will be 1. So in this way I can determine the slope of any function. All we need to do is derive the function and take the slope at which point we are asking. That is, here this is 0 and 1. So this way we can determine the slope. Now we can learn the concept of tangent and normal and solve some problems also. So now we will see how to write the equation of a tangent and a normal for an arbitrary curve. So let's suppose y equal to fx be any arbitrary curve. So to find out the tangent or normal, let's suppose, so now let's suppose this is any arbitrary curve and this is the y equal to f of x. So to find out tangent and normal at any point, what you have to do is, let's suppose this is a point which is x equal to a. So to find out the tangent, all you need to do is find out the slope of the tangent. As I have already said that I am interested in finding out equation of straight line from this equation, where m is slope, c is intercept, and x and y are 2 points. So now to find out the equation of straight line, x point will be given to me, and I need to find out the slope. So slope will be dy by dx equal to f dash of x. So now how to draw a tangent at any point? So tangent at any point, let's this is a circle. So to find out tangent at any point on this circle, what you need to do is pick a point at any point and then draw a line such that it cuts the circle at only one point. The basic definition of tangent is that when we draw a tangent at any point, on any curve, this line and this curve will only intersect at only one point. By my diagram you may have a misconception that it is cutting at many points, but it is not like that. It only cut at only one point, and let's suppose this point is x naught, y naught. Similarly, you can draw the tangent here also like this. Just you need to touch this tangent at one point of the curve at which you are being asked to find out the equation of tangent. So now as we have already drawn the tangent, now we are given the point x naught, y naught. So all you need to write is y equal to mx plus c. So here you can write y naught m of x naught plus c, or y naught m is f dash of x naught plus c. So y naught and x naught are given, f dash of x at x naught and y naught. You are already find out that value at x naught and y naught. So after that you can find the intercept c, and after that if you put in this equation, you can get the equation of straight line, which is also the equation of tangent. Now to determine the equation of, this is equation of tangent. Now to determine the equation of normal, which is very simple and similar to this, all you need to do is first draw the tangent and then at 90 degree draw any straight line. This is a single straight line. So this is 90 degree. So after drawing the tangent, draw a normal, and this is the normal. This is tangent. This is normal. So there is a basic property of tangent and normal, which is that if m1 is the slope of tangent, then if m2 is slope of normal, then there is a property that both of these will be, when we multiply, will be always equal to 1, sorry, minus 1. So let's suppose my slope of tangent is my m. So my slope of normal will be 1 by minus m. So that we multiply these two and we get minus 1. So basically, if you know the slope of tangent, you can easily determine the slope of normal. So now we will solve some basic problems of equation of tangent and normal equal to 0. So now how to find this? So we are given find the equation of all lines having slope 2 and which are being tangent to the curve, which is denoted by y plus 2 minus 2 by x minus 3 equal to 0. So first of all you need to do is find out the derivative of this expression. So let's suppose I take this term towards the right side of equal. So now when I derive this, take derivative, as minus 2 is constant, so I will write minus 1 x minus 3 to the power minus 2. So after simplifying, I can get x minus 3 whole square. So this is twice x 2 by x minus 3 whole square. So basically this is the slope of the curve. So now I will determine the equation of straight line which are having slope 2. So now let's suppose y equal to mx plus c. So here I already found out the slope, which is y equal to 2 by x minus 3 whole square x plus c. So here slope is 2, it is given, and tangent to this curve. So actually 2 minus x minus 3 whole square is given in the equation as equal to 2. So if I simplify, I can get I can basically get 2 points of x at which slope is 2. So this will be plus minus 1. So I will get 3 plus minus 1. So I will get 3 plus 1 and 3 minus 1. So basically at point x equal to 4 and x equal to 2, I am having the slope 2. So here I will, if I can get the coordinate, which is slope should be 2 and the points are at x equal to 4. At x equal to 4, the y value will be, let's suppose I find out the value of y will be minus of 2 x minus 3. So it will be 2 4 minus 3, which will be minus 2. And again at x equal to 2, y value will be 2 minus 3. So basically this will be minus of 1, so this will be 2. So basically we have got 2 points, that is 4 comma minus 2 and 2 comma 2. So these are the points at which we need to find out the equation of tangent, and our slope at these points will be 2. So basically you can find out the slope of this tangents by this equation y equal to mx plus c. So y equal to twice x plus c. At first of all, I will determine the slope at 4, minus 2. So the first point will be 4 and minus 2. X equal to 4, y, minus 2. So here minus 2 plus c. So this will come out c equal to minus of 10. So basically the first equation of tangent will be twice x minus 10. So this is our first line, and again at x equal to 2 and 2, y equal to 2 and x equal to 2, I will find another line which having slope 2. So when I write at x equal to 2, you can clearly see, then this is a repetition of the first step also. So the new line will be twice x minus 2. So this is the second line. So like this way you can find out the equation of tangent and normal also. In this question we are finding out the equation of tangent only. In the next question we will try to find out the equation of normal as well as equation of tangent from a given question. So this is the question for us to find the equation of tangent line to the curve y equal to x square minus twice x plus 7, which is parallel to the line and perpendicular to the particular line. So you can also find out, instead of tangent you can also find out normal. So in this problem I will just write the tangent. You can also find out the normal by the process I have already told you. Like if you find out the slope of tangent as m, you can get slope as minus m. Only you have to put m in case of tangent and 1 minus m in case of normal. So this is the basic difference, but the process for both these type of problems are always same. So now I will solve the first part. The second part is also very similar to the first part. So before solving this problem, there is a simple concept, like let's suppose there is a straight line ax plus by plus c equal to 0. So what is the slope of this line? So basically to know the slope of this line, always try to find out the equivalent form of this line in this form, that is y equal to mx plus c. What is the benefit here is that when you find y equal to mx plus c in this type of form, then the coefficient of x, you can always write it as the slope of that line. So for this line ax plus by plus c equal to 0, all I need to do is this form should be written in this type of form. So what I need to do is take the by term in the left side and take the ax plus c term in the right side. Now to get y, I need to do is divide by b in the both side. So here you can see that this is all in the same form as y equal to mx plus c, where y equal to minus of a by b is the slope of that line, x plus c by b is the intercept. Here we need to find out the slope of this line, so minus of a by b is the slope. So this is a kind of the concept, but to determine in a short way, you can always find out the slope by write a minus beforehand, then take the first coefficient of x, that is a, in the top and coefficient of y in the bottom. So this is the slope and this is the slope. So this is how you determine the slope, but in exam you can always determine quickly by writing negative first, then coefficient of x divided by coefficient of b. In this way you can quickly determine the slope of any straight line. So in this problem also we need to find out the slope of this straight line and also this straight line. So what we need to do is find out the tangent line to the curve. So basically this is the curve and we need to find out the derivative of that curve. So dy by dx equal to d by dx x square minus twice x plus 7 equal, this is the curve. So we will do here is that differentiate. So this is the differentiation, and so this is the here it is said that this is the slope of the tangent line. So in the first case it is said that this tangent line, which we need to have the equation, is always parallel to this line. What do you mean by this statement is that suppose there is a line here and I have another line which is parallel to this line. Suppose this is having a slope of m, so this, as these two lines are parallel, so this line will also have slope m. Another way you can see that if this is a line and this is the normal to this line, so suppose this is m, so this will be minus m. So this is two basic concepts in this question. So here it is given that find the equation of tangent line to the curve. So I have a curve which is y equal to x square minus twice x plus 7, and here the tangent line is parallel to this line. So if this is the line, tangent line, this is parallel to this line. So if I know the slope of this curve, sorry, this line, this is twice x minus y plus 9 equal to 0, then I can get the slope of the tangent line. So the slope of this line, that is twice x minus y plus 9 equal to 0. So by the funda I have already discussed, the slope of this straight line will be, let's suppose this is m, I will first write a minus, then I will first write the coefficient of x, which is 2, and then coefficient of y, this is minus 1. So this will be 2. So the slope of this line will be 2. So now I need to find out the slope. So here the tangent line are having slope twice x minus 2, and in this case this slope is equal to 2. So this will be twice x minus 2 equal to 2. So if I solve and simplify, x will be 2, as the point at which we are going to find out the tangent line, this point will lie on this line, on this curve. So if I have a value of x equal to 2, then from this equation of curve I am going to find out the value of corresponding y value, which is twice 2 square minus 2 into 2, 7, which is 4, 4, 7. So 7. So this is the point at which we need to find out the slope. So basically the point is 2, 7. So now to determine the slope, all you need to, equation of line, all you need to do is write this equation and find out what is the value of c. So here y value is 7, slope is, we determine it to be 2, x is 2, and this is c. So 7, if I take it to the left, this is c. So value of c is 3. So the equation of tangent line, which is parallel to this line, is going to have this form, y equal to twice x plus 3, and this is the answer. So this way I can find out the first problem. The second one is also the same. What is different here is that the tangent line is perpendicular to this line. So if I am going to give you a hint, the hint is here is that all these steps are going to be needed in the calculation, but the difference is that in the B problem, the tangent line is perpendicular to this line. So first of all, let's find out the slope of this line. The equation of the line is 5y minus 15x equal to 13. So always remember something, that when you are using a short trick, always remember in which form I have given you the short trick or any other teacher, because if you write here the short trick, sometimes it may come out to be wrong. So the thing is that always remember that I have given you the short trick for ax plus by plus c equal to 0. So always take the equation of line in this form, or you can say that I can write it in the form of y equal to mx plus c also, and then you can find out the slope. Well, I am going to deal with the second method here, which is 3x plus 13 by 5. So the equation of line is, the slope of the line is 3. So some student will do what here is that they will take slope as 3 and they will solve like I have already solved. But the thing is that if the question is that the tangent line is perpendicular to this line. So perpendicular means if this line having a slope of m, then this line will always have a slope of 1 by minus of 1 by m. So the required slope, this is not the slope, but the required slope is 1 by 3. And after that you can always find out the point by equating twice x minus 2 equal to this, and then you can find out the remaining point. Everything you can find out like I have already solved. So this is the concept of tangent and normal. So now there is a small topic here which is called approximation. Not much questions normally are asked from this topic, but you may never know. So I am going to teach that topic also, but this topic is very small. Like application of derivative also deal in like finding out. I have already told you in a previous video that how to find out this value, that is 36.6. So basically some of you will told me that sir, I will use a calculator and I will find out the value. Some will also tell me that sir, I can find out the square root value, like the long method, how to find a square root of any number. But that is not the purpose of learning this trick. This trick will we need to find out the square root of this number using the derivative concept, not any other form. So you will see that this is not very tricky thing to find out. Let's suppose a question is given that find out the square root of 36.6. So what you will do here is that let's suppose y equal to root x. So this is the functional form to find out root over 36.6. So now here I will take x equal to 36. So what I can say from here is that always take x, that value which you already know the square root, like the perfect squares, like 4, 9, 16, 49, of that sort. So you can always tell the root over value of x directly, not having to do with anything calculate. Do not have to use any calculator for that purpose. So now I take x equal to 36, and then this 36.6 value is a little bit greater than 36. So how much 36 is lesser than 36.6, or I can say that how much is 36.6 is 36.6 is greater than 36. That amount is, I can denote it as delta x, which is 0.6. So delta x is the increment of value of 36. So now there are two things, like you can always write d by dx. In some book you will always going to see this type of form, but the thing is that it is not always equal to this. This expression does not always hold good, but in some approximate cases we can always take this is not exactly equal to del by del x. This is dy by dx, which is and this is del by del x. So the basic difference is that dy by dx is the form we take after we find out the limit. So when I take some function and I take delta x equal to 0, tends to 0, then I can get this. when I take the limit of delta x tends to 0, I can write it as dy by dx. So dy by dx is very small term, but in corresponding in comparison to dy by dx, del y and del x are relatively higher order term. So if del y is suppose 0.5, then dy is very small. Like I have told you about the value of h. So this is the basic difference of del y and dy. So now here this is an approximate way to find out the square root, not the exact way. So we can assume that dy by dx is equal to del y by del x in an approximate form. So the correct way of writing it as like this. So this is the correct way of writing, which is this symbol means that this is an approximate way of writing dy. So not exact. So what I am going to write here is that here, so I have already found x and del x. So I need to find out dy by dx here. So here y equal to root over x. So I am going to find out the dy by dx. So this will be x half. So this will be 1 by half x, 1 by 2 minus 1 by 1. So this is 1 by 2 minus, so this will be, so 2 by root over x will be the differentiation of this function. So directly I can write so this is the slope. So basically what we need to find here is that this is del x del y. So now we are going to find out the value of this term. That is 36.6. 36.6 is basically means 36 plus 0.6. So this is actually x plus del x. So this is 36.6. This is, so we need to find out, which is basically this. So now when I can write as del y equal to root over x plus del x minus root over x. So here x plus del x is having the value 36.6 and x is having the value 36. So from here I can write del y equal to 36.6 and square root of 36 is 6. So I can write 6 plus del y equal to 36.6. So basically if I now can find out the value of del y, I can clearly get the value of 36.6. So del y value will be found from this expression. So del y will be dy by dx into del x. So dy by dx is of the form this. So I can write 1 by 2 into root over x into del x. So del x is 0.6 and x is already know 36. So from here we can write 2 into 6 into 0.6. So this is 2 into 60 into 6. So this is 10. So this is 1 by 20. So there the value of del y is 1 by 20 and the value of this expression we will again further evaluate. So 6 plus del y equal to root over 36.6. So 36.6 is equal to 6 plus del y, and del y we find out the value as 1 by 20. So the 1 by 20 is basically 0.05. So you can get the value of root over 36 as 6.05. So this is basically the step by which you can find out the square root value of root over 36.6. Similarly, you can find out another value like 25 by 1 by 3. So basically here is that the difference in this problem is that 36.6, this root over means 36.6 to the power half. So this is the form of problem, and then you can find out 25 to the power 1 by 3. Here the simple thing is that here x is 36 here, but exactly the 25 is the perfect square. So the del x will be come out to be something else. So you can try out this problem like how to find out the value of root over 25 root over to the power 1 by 3. So basically this is all about increasing and decreasing functions, tangent and normal, and then approximate value, how to find out these approximate values. So I think you have already you have understand these concepts, and if you have any query regarding whatever I have taught in this video, you can comment it down below, and I will try to clear your doubts regarding anything. And in the next class I am going to taught you the last and the most important part of application of derivative, which is the maximum and minima. So maximum minima have the concept of increasing and decreasing functions. Then it can have the concept of limits, slopes, and derivatives. So it is always present. So I think you will enjoy the next part also. So thank you and see you again.